The house sat at the bend of Hollow Road. People whispered the name. The Slaughterhouse. The paint was old and peeling, the color of a faded bruise. The windows were dark and watchful, like eyes that never blinked. A strange smell hung in the air around it, a mix of rust and something like old meat left too long in the sun. Inside, two sisters lived a life measured in silence. They had no friends to call. They had no mother to comfort them. There was only their father, a large, quiet man who ruled every room with a heavy presence that soaked into the very walls. Mara was 15. She had learned the art of being quiet, moving through the house like a ghost so as not to disturb the air. Anna, at 9, had perfected the skill of hiding into the closet shadows or beneath a dusty bed. Their father came home late at night, his boots heavy on the porch steps. He smelled of metal and oil from his work, a scent that clung to him like a second skin. His laugh was a rare and terrible sound, like the sharp scrape of a blade across bone. At night, the house itself seemed to come alive with its own secret language. The pipes would sigh and weep with rusty water. The old floors would groan under a weight that wasn't there. The sisters had a name for the suffocating darkness after sundown. They called it the hung room. They placed small, colorful stickers, a desperate attempt to bring light into the gloom. They drew maps of safe places, charting the house's treacherous geography, timing the steps between doors, memorizing the patterns of safety and danger. They knew which boards would cry out and which would hold their silence. They spoke in numbers instead of names when his shadow stretched down the hallway. He did things to them they never dared to speak of. He found their small comforts and destroyed them. He closed doors for long hours. The silence behind those doors was worse than any scream. The father's cruelty was a quiet, constant pressure, not a storm of rage. Once, when small Anna asked for bread, he simply smiled. It was not a kind smile. "We survived the hard way here," he said, his voice as thin as a wire. They never went near the back room. When neighbors stopped by, a terrifying transformation occurred. He became kind, tidy, charming. Mara, older and desperate, began to plot. Tiny acts of rebellion that felt like major victories. She taught Anna to untie his knots. She showed her how to count from their room to the rusted gate. Under blankets, they recited street names from rare trips into town. With a broken pencil, they drew maps of roads, of distant lights, and red X's for danger zones. They made a list for escape: a warm coat, 2 tarnished coins found under the porch, a single spoon, and hid it under a loose attic board. One bitter winter night, a snowstorm delayed their father. The moon was a thin silver coin over a sleeping landscape.
The house was quiet. "It's time," Mara whispered. She took Anna's hand. Anna's fingers trembled like dry leaves, but she nodded. They moved like shadows past the kitchen. A low snore from his room. The iron key hung in place. The attic board screeched, and Anna froze. "Breathe slow," Mara said. "Just breathe slow."
They took their coats and the list, found the worn path, reached the back door. The knob turned, a soft click, and frost and shadow swallowed them. For one glorious moment, they were free. The cold slapped them awake. They ran for the gate. The gate was stuck. The latch moaned and gave. They scrambled to Hollow Road. The stars felt impossibly loud. They ran toward lights that weren't his. Then, a sound behind them. A soft footfall, too light to be his. The back door gaped. Something stood there, moving like a person but wrong, wearing his hat. It stepped forward, bringing the house's smells. It smiled, but the lips were not its own. Anna screamed. The thing laughed, and it wasn't human. It was the house, creaking wood and rattling pipes, and it followed. In panic, they ran toward the only home they knew. The gate clanged shut by an unseen hand. The road was empty. The town lights receded. The back door opened and closed by itself, a slow inhale and exhale. The thing folded into the dark. The house had swallowed it. At dawn, they crept back. The gate latch hung open, dark handprints on the door. Inside, perfect, chilling order. The table set, knives gleaming, his chair polished, empty. They moved to the attic. The board lifted. The list remained, but something else, a small carved wooden mask. It was a smiling face with hair made of wet, dark rope. It smelled of iron and the barn. Mara put it back, took coats and the 2 coins, tucked the list into her braid. Then the house began to hum. His door, always locked, was ajar. From within, a slow, gentle singing.
Children, come home. You left your masks behind.
There were many of them. Serene smiles, rope hair, eyes cold and still. He held one up. It was Anna's face, perfectly carved and painted.